us all settled up and ready to go. Oh boy.
And if you don't mind, it might be awkward with your paper, but if you don't mind just sliding your mic over a touch, if you want to fold it on.
Right there. Jesus.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. Afternoon, everyone. We are joined here with Luke Clanton, who will be making his professional debut this week at the RBC Canadian Open. Luke, I'm going to open it up to you for some comments.
Will do. I have some things written down. I didn't want to forget anything, but wow. Today, my dream becomes a reality. I'm a professional golfer on the PGA Tour. But before I say anything about my future, I want to say something about my foundation. I'm a proud son of David and Rhonda Clanton. I'm a grateful brother of Ray and Abby Clanton. I'm a product of their love, their belief, and their sacrifices. They laid the groundwork for this moment and hopefully many other big and major moments in my life and career. Family is everything, so Mom, Dad, Ray, and Abby, thank you for everything. To my coaches and mentors, thank you for your guidance, your honesty. You challenged me and encouraged me and trusted me when it mattered the most. To my FSU teammates, I've been lucky to share a locker room with you. We developed a bond that will last for a lifetime, and it will mean something special in my life for always. I'm so proud to be part of it. I've been blessed to compete and play in events around my home state for my entire life. Those opportunities came at an early age, starting with U.S. Kids, then the South Florida PGA, then the Florida Junior Golf Tour, and then AJGA. I'd like to thank those organizations for creating and hosting events from a young boy in Hialeah. Florida had a chance to develop and both fail, succeed, and ultimately fulfill his dream in setting here now as a professional on the PGA Tour. Lastly, but most importantly, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for my faith for the last 3 years has been incredible. Without trusting in Jesus and without trusting in the Lord, I wouldn't be here no matter what case, no matter what situation. I know the professional game is a new world. I cannot be more excited for this moment. I'm ready. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Luke. With that, this has been a very exciting, emotional, and week leading up to this. What's it been like to prepare for this day that you knew was coming?
It's been incredible. I mean, it's, I guess it's something, like I said, just something you dream for always, constantly, and to kind of now be here and to call myself a professional is honestly a little bit weird at first because it's always been an amateur, but it's amazing. I'm just excited to come out here and compete. You know, it's not about the money. It's not about any of the fame. It's just about competing with these guys on tour. And I think it's something that I've chased for my whole entire life, and especially my family.
You just mentioned a lot of great people that you were thankful for. Have you had time to reflect since kind of closing the chapter of your amateur career and starting your professional career this week?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, it was hard definitely after Nationals when we lost. It was a hard one to kind of wrap up, but kind of coming back and hanging out with the guys for the last couple of days was definitely a bit rough. Kind of leaving them and understanding that my amateur career is done it was hard, but it's something that we all chase for to become a professional. So it's a happy cause at the end, but I'm just so excited.
I've had a decorated amateur career and already a great start as an amateur here on the tour with runner-up finishes and crossing that threshold at Cognizant. What goals do you have as a professional?
Oh, man. My only goal is to stay process-oriented as much as I can. I think you can look very far into the future and say, I want to win majors and PGA Tour wins. Obviously, everyone wants to do that. But I think, to me, it's staying connected with my team, staying connected with my family, and staying connected to the process as much as I can. And it's a very generic answer, as everyone says, but it's something true. I think I fall to that a little bit occasionally where you try to go out and try to win an event, which normally doesn't work. So I'm going to try to stay in my process and understand that golf is literally one shot at a time. It's nothing else.
Thank you. With that, we'll open up the questions. Same routine. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. Start off here on the right.
Hey, obviously it's a emotional time. Is there anything that surprises you about the level of emotion you feel this week? And was there a moment that it hit you? And what do you think Thursday will be like?
I think the moment that hit me was when we were flying to Canada. I mean, we had to bring a passport and everything, and I remember I got on the flight and I was like, dang, this is my first PGA Tour start ever. And it still hasn't really hit me because, we're out here competing and practicing, getting ready for it. But I think once that first round comes around, it's going to be exciting. And I think not really nervous, just more excitement to get out there and play.
And with this being a national open, there's going to be a lot of young Canadian pros and amateurs living their dreams or with big dreams. What do you remember as sort of the best parts and toughest parts of your journey? And you're pretty young to be giving advice, but what advice would you have for kids like that?
Yeah, I was about to say I'm 21, so it's still young, but I think the toughest part of it was expectations, obviously. Everyone's so good at golf, so you're no matter how good you play, no matter how much you compete, it's still hard to win. And I think the biggest thing is just staying in your path. Don't try to be different just because one dude's doing something else. I fall to that a little bit in my junior career where I try to copy other guys and try to, obviously take advice from better players and try to maybe work off that, but staying who you are as a person, I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's something I've learned over the last 6-7 months is staying connected with who I am as a person. Yeah.
Your good friend Kevin.
What's up, brother?
What up, sir? Your mom retired a couple days ago, officially. Your mom retired June 1st?
Yeah. She retired, I think it was about a month ago. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Was there a retirement party?
No. She was like, I told her, I was like, you're not going to have to work a day in your life. And she said, no, I'll just work for you. And I was like, all right, Mom, thanks, appreciate it. So she's helping out with the hotels and Airbnbs. But, it's amazing to kind of see my mom and my dad kind of take a breather and understand that, they can kind of enjoy the experiences now with me and have a good time. I think, it's something that every kid chases for is to retire their mom and dad and help them out with everything. And it's amazing.
I know between the homeschooling and your mom working and flying and your dad working 3 jobs, I guess it's a broad question, but how do you think they did it?
I don't know. Simple answer. I really, there's a lot of mom and dads out there that work very hard for their kids, and I know that, and my mom and dad is one of those people, and you put me in that situation, I don't know if I could do it. So it's what they did for me and what they did for not just for me, but my 2 older sisters as well, to get us through everything. It was incredible. So, again, my mom and dad are 2 hardworking people, and they'll never, ever take credit for it, which kind of pisses me off sometimes because they did everything they could. So it's amazing to see what they've done and amazing to see how they raised 3 children the way they did.
And another one that you could go anyway, but what's one thing that you like about yourself?
About myself? I got a strong mentality, very strong mentality. I think that's something I'm very, very strong about, and I think something that is created with my team as well. It's not all about saying how good I am. It's more about how much we work, and I think it's something that I'm pretty proud of.
Where do you think that comes from, like throughout life, slowly built, or is it something that you were kind of naturally...
I think it's something my dad created in me. I've talked about this a couple of times with people, but what my dad did at an early young age created me to be the person I am now. And, my dad took that step of pushing me to my limits when I was a kid and making me train as hard as I can and hitting golf balls in the dark with a flashlight. Those kind of things are created to make a person mentally hard and mentally ready for these kind of big moments. And, again, it's just amazing.
Lastly for me, the statement you gave at the top, that was awesome. What inspired you to do that, to kind of write that out? And how long did it take you to write that?
A couple days. Not that long.
Adam here on the left.
Hi there. Congratulations, obviously, first and foremost. If you fast forward to a week from today and you look back on your debut, what does success look like for you?
Success looks like I stayed in my process as much as I can. I think, if I go out there and play well and bring home a win, that'd be amazing. But again, it's just going to be a lot of process. It's my first pro start. Again, I've had 13 starts under my belt, which is amazing to have, especially coming on the PGA Tour. But again, I think it's something that we're just going to try to stay in our zone as much as I can. There's a lot of great players in this field, obviously, and now to be able to compete against them as a pro, it's amazing. So we're just going to stay in our process, and if it comes out with a great finish, it'll be great.
Hey, Luke. Is this on? You heard me? Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats on turning pro. Question about Liv. Did they ever make an offer to you or, try to negotiate with you? And if so, what kind of went into your decision to pick the PGA Tour?
I want to play the PGA Tour. Pretty simple. I want to play against the best. I want to compete in majors, and that's it. Simple.
As we get a microphone back up to Kevin, there's been a lot of success with PGA Tour U. Have you been able to pick the brains of Ludwig or any other players about that transition from an amateur to a professional?
Yeah, I played with Ludwig at RSM, and gosh, he hits it good. It's pretty cool to see, and I was picking his mind the whole round. I was trying not to bother him because we were playing in a PGA Tour event, but it was really cool. I had my best friend on the bag that time, and we were just kind of admiring his 8-iron on 8. I remember it pretty well, and those kind of moments are awesome. I think what he does so well is he's so locked in on what he's doing. It's not ever what anyone else is doing, it's what he's doing. And I think that's something I'm trying to learn as I go, and it's pretty cool.
Do you consider yourself like a golf fan, kind of growing up, like enjoying watching golf?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
And so in terms of, I guess, the top two in the world ranking currently, Scotty and Rory, kind of just following them and watching them, what kind of impresses you about them, and how would you say, are there any ways that you compare and contrast them in terms of being similar and or being different?
I think what Scotty and Rory both do so well is that, when they're coming down that final stretch to win a golf event, they know how to handle themselves well. I mean, they've been in that moment multiple times now, obviously, and it's just amazing to watch what they do. I think Scotty and Rory are icons of this game, and to be playing against Rory this week is pretty cool. And, again, I in similar ways, I'm still learning. I don't know how I'm similar to them yet, even if I am or not, but I know that I'm a pretty good golfer, and I know I got a good mentality, and I know that will hold me strong throughout my career.
Is there anything about them that you feel like Rory does something one way and Scotty does it? I guess if you had to pick one difference in how they approach the game from what you've observed, what would you say?
I think what they do so well is their emotions never get too high or too low. I think Scotty, again, last week at Memorial, if you watched him play, he threw one fist bump, and he was leading the event. I mean, he was so locked in on what he was doing. And, I'm a massive golf fan, so I watched the whole back nine, obviously. And he hit it great. I mean, he gained like 15 shots off the field in irons. I mean, that's unbelievable. So, he's just different right now. That's it, pretty plain and simple.
And you mentioned your process and sticking to your process. Is it easy for you to stay in the moment, or do you sometimes find your mind wandering and have to dial it back to the moment?
Early on, yeah. I think even now it's still hard. But, again, I think it takes time. I think it's, you're going to learn every single week. Even if you don't play well, you're still learning. And I think that's something that I'm getting used to. But again, yeah, your mind wanders a lot, obviously, but it's just how you can get back into the moment as quick as you can.
What's one thing you do to keep yourself in the moment?
Well, me and my caddy, Jason, talk about a lot of basketball, and we try to stay focused in on the golf shot, but then when we're done with the golf shot, we don't try to stay too focused in because your mind can't really stay focused in for 5.5 hours. So we've learned kind of a good technique to kind of bounce it in and out, and it's good.
We're going to go back to Adam, but who's your basketball team?
This is going to sound bad, but I'm an OKC fan. I've been an OKC fan for 12 years, so let's make that straight. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted.
I can hear you. It's
Okay.
all good, yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to check a fact because you had brought up the passport thing and you kind of laughed. Have you been to Canada before?
Never been to Canada.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
so this is the first, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Any other questions?
Yeah, love it.
The OKC, where did that fandom come from?
One of my good buddies, when I was super young, we used to watch basketball, and obviously Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden were on the same team. And I was like, I'll just stick with that. Obviously, Miami Heat was really good during that time, when LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. But I have been an OKC fan, and it's hard to admit because I am from Miami, and everyone might hate me for that. But No, I love OKC and I love where they're at right now. I think they might sweep. Just be honest.
Have you been to a game?
Not in OKC, no, but I've watched OKC play. Yeah.
And final question. Jake?
So ahead of your professional debut, we have a special message from a fellow FSU alum. So wouldn't mind you press and play on this video and get some reactions from you.
No way.
Luke, first off, congratulations, my brother, and go Nobles. So excited to see you set it off right with your first PGA Tour event. Man, go out there and do your very best. One stroke at a time. You got this. Have the mental capacity. One stroke at a time. Always believe in yourself. I believe in you. Blessings and prosperity to you in your career.
Wow.
Luke, first off,
That's unbelievable. Man, I don't even know what to say. I've watched all his highlights through his whole FSU career and watched him in the NFL. That's unbelievable. Wow, thank you. I don't even know what to say. Hopefully I get to meet him in the future. That's a big goal of mine. He is one of the funnier dudes and also big believer in Christ, which is unbelievable. So it's really cool to see that kind of support. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, dude. Where'd you get that? How'd you get that?
We find a way. Perfect.
Sweet.
Thank you, Luke, for the time.
James Winston. Yeah. All right, appreciate it. Thank you all.